Hello, this is Introduction to Working with a Process. And in this process, we're going to go from very basic and very simple without even a clear idea to details last. So first, I folded my paper up into 4 rectangles. We're going to use a red colored pencil, a pen, a Sharpie, and watercolors. First, we're going to make a simple shape in each box lightly. Then we're going to overlap a second shape. You choose the shape, the size, and the placement. Now we have interesting shapes. Add a different shape and a place for a nose, for eyes and eyebrows. Again, different shapes, different sizes. You choose those. Eyes and eyebrows next. Add a mouth. Mouths can be symmetrical or crooked. You could have a tooth sticking out or a mouth open or closed. Next come ears, shape, size, angle. These are the choices you make as you go. Then you can add some hair or little details, things like glasses I'm adding here. I changed this hairdo to just like a baseball hat and some really big buck teeth for bunnies. Next I take a pen and I trace all of my details. Not only do I trace the details, I don't trace the details that I don't want to show up in the final piece. I also take my time the most here, and I add little details as I go to make it look even better. So as I go, I get little ideas of things I want to add or change, and I do that with the black pen. So things can still change at this point. And I don't bother erasing the red pencil. I just draw right over the top of it. All the mistakes I just leave right there. Or not mistakes, or just things I want to change. I don't erase them. I draw right on top of them. Once I've put in enough little details, a lot of this red's going to disappear. I go over the main things with a thicker Sharpie. You can see the lines thicker so it stands out more. So I'm not going to trace every little thing I traced with the pen. I'm just going to go around mostly outlines or things that I think are super important, like the tongue on this one and the mouth. And then the rest is pretty much outlines. I'll darken the eyes and make them look more clear. But again, I'm only tracing the basics with the Sharpie, not everything. Just big basic shapes. Now we can move on and give it a basic quick watercolor. I don't get the paper soaking wet, and I don't try to get my watercolors perfect, because I'm going to go over them after. You can mix a little bit of color right there with the watercolors. I'm actually painting all 4 at the same time. If I painted something blue and then I look to the rest of them, what can be blue? What can be yellow? Now I'm going around, what parts on each one can I make red? On that one face, the cheeks were too red, so I put more water on it and spread it around. Now I'm going over some things with green, and I'm looking at every single one. What can I add green here? What can I add orange here? So I'm painting all 4 at the same time. I'm not doing one at a time. Once the watercolor is dry, I can go over it with colored pencil. So I went over it with a little more orange, but now I'm adding blue and purple for shadows. I added a little red, pink in the cheeks. I brought out the eyes with more of the color of the eyes. Let's see, for this one, I'm adding a little bit of shading with darker versions of the colors I used. And then I'm taking other colors and adding them in so it's not just one flat color. I try to make it look, I add a little yellow that goes into green and then into the shadow. I'm adding a little orange to the hair. I'm making this face a little more orange and brown. I'm spreading out the pink cheeks with the red color pencil. Here I just got an idea. I wanted to suddenly add spots to this guy's face. Then I go back to this one. I use darker blue to show some of the texture of the hair. A little bit of blue shadows or purple shadows. Not much. Here I'm doing the same thing, bringing out some of the blues and making some of the yellows a little bit orange, making some of the reds a little bit darker. bringing out the eyes, and that's it. We did the details last. We started out not even knowing what we were making, and we made 4 completely different faces out of nowhere, just by putting shapes together and following a very simple process, from simple to more detailed. In this case, we made imaginary faces, but we could do this with anything. This video was sped up about 4 times faster than I actually did it. I didn't actually draw and paint that fast, by the way. So you should go slow and careful.